Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 420 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. I am your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn here, as always, with my suspenders set to maximum stun. Got a great show for you this week. This is your opportunity to reach out to me once a week and to ask me any question you have on your mind, and for me to answer your questions for you. So this is a great opportunity for me to interface with all of you watching my videos every single day. Well, 6 days a week. So I really relish this time. And yes, before we begin, I know, this is episode 420. Yes, I get it. I do get it. We are not smoking anything super exciting today. I know that would be exciting, but we're not that exciting on this program. I get right up to the line, and then I stop at super excitement. I'm just mildly excited here. We will be mildly enjoying something mildly exciting today, which is just a typical cigar. So we're not going to get extravagant. We don't do things extravagantly here on Scotch and Smoke Rings. So we'll just chill. Yes, we understand what those three numbers mean. We all get it, and we're adults. So just before the program begins, let's get that out of the way. Moving on, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to be playing some Metro 2033. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting well on our way through the game. I'm at, let's see, where did we leave off? I only play it with you. I don't play it on my own. So we left off right after going into that metro area and getting attacked by all of those little rat-like things. So it's going to be a blast. We're going to be doing that, and I will be answering all of your questions. We've got an entire staff of fantastic viewers like you who have volunteered to field your questions to me today. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good to have you guys helping out today.
Hey, buddy.
It makes my broadcast run so much more smoothly and gives me time to sit and answer questions instead of getting distracted by the chat, which has begun to fly off the screen these days as we have been growing. So, I've got a lot planned. I don't know about you. Is anyone else as excited for Thursday as I am when we finally get here? My work week takes up a lot of my time. I'm looking forward to ending this work week, and Thursday is the day where I can produce maybe a smaller video and relax with a good cigar with all of you. When I don't produce a smaller video on Thursdays, I tend to miss Fridays. Some of you have been leaving comments saying, what's been happening to your Friday videos the past couple of weeks? Yeah, I did miss my Friday videos the past 2 weeks, and it's because I would get so caught up in Scotch and Smoke Rings that midnight would roll along Thursday night, and I'm still not done with my video, and I'm just too exhausted, so I go straight to bed. But I've been working on a video all day today. It's going to be a little bit shorter than usual, so I should get it done in time for tomorrow morning. For those wondering, it is Wasteland Survival Guide Episode 3, the final episode. Since I've been producing videos related to that survival guide for the past few weeks, the Arlington Library, National Archives, Rivet City, all of that jazz, I've already got most of the footage done, so it was much easier for me to put the video together. Anyway, Wasteland Survival Guide Chapter 3 tomorrow, and then you also may have noticed this week that I only produced one New Vegas video. The last New Vegas video I did was Cass, which was last weekend. And I typically do 2 New Vegas videos a week, just like I do 2 Fallout 3 videos and 2 Fallout 4 videos. This week I haven't done any New Vegas videos, and the reason for that is because I have been shooting footage for a new big epic DLC series, Honest Hearts. So that's coming. I've been shooting footage for that every single day. The way I do big DLCs, this is the way I did Dead Money, is I have to play through the entire DLC first so that I can understand the story, so that I can connect all of the dots, and that produces gigs and gigs and gigs of footage. Once I have all of the footage shot, recorded, all of the audio, I can then decide how I want to chop up the narrative. That's what I did with Dead Money. I did the entire DLC first, then I figured out, okay, well then this is enough footage for me to produce 6 episodes worth of content, so we'll have a Dead Money week. So far, I'm well on my way through Honest Hearts. I'm at the point where we go and see Daniel, the leader of the Sorrows, and so I've already got 3 videos worth of content shot. So I can't wait to finish this entire DLC for New Vegas. It is so good! So good! But then again, I also found the bus. It's so sad. I hate it when they do that. But yeah, so we will have our sad moments, but it's a great DLC. Anyway, so just a little bit of foreshadowing. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on a big, honest hearts piece of content for New Vegas. It'll probably be a week's worth of content, but it will take me time to put together. So just bear with me while I continue to produce my content every single day except for Monday. And we will get through it. But see, I knew this would happen. I shouldn't have even said anything. The comment section is already going bat nuts crazy about it. This is just a cigar filled with tobacco. The only leaf in this cigar is the tobacco leaf. The same kind of cigars I smoke every week on this program. It's just a tobacco cigar. This one in particular is a Romeo y Julieta 1875. I don't know what that means, but I did buy something new that I'd like to show off. Show and tell time here on Scotch and Smoke Rings. This is a new cigar cutter. Remember I was complaining about my cigar cutter last week, and I said that I bought a new one, but it hadn't arrived yet? Well, this is it. I figured, you know what? I might as well invest in something a little bit more substantial. It's a desktop cigar cutter, and it has 4 different kinds. It's got a large gauge for a guillotine large gauge cut. It's got a smaller gauge for a guillotine small gauge cut. And then it's got some V-cuts, depending on the gauge of the cigar. Large gauge, small gauge. And we are going to be doing a small gauge guillotine cut today. And the way it works is so great. I'm not going to completely mess it up with my shaky hands, but you just snip it off. It's very much like Robin Hood Men in Tights. You know, the... what's his name? He's a professional Goyle? Boyle? I forget his name. Snip the tip. There we go. Huh. I was expecting a cleaner cut than that. Here, let's use a guillotine on that. Here we go. And quickly. Ah, there we go. Much better. This should prevent us from having unraveling, which is unpleasant to experience during a broadcast. Nothing pure about Scotch and cigars, says Randy. You kidding me? Everything's pure about Scotch and cigars. So I drank from a sippy cup last week, but thankfully the weather has cooled way down here in Seattle. I'm so glad. I've got a wonderful ventilation system up here, though. I finally have an exhaust. I turned my fan around the other way. Logical when you think about it, but I just thought about it now. All these years of smoking cigars, and I'm just now turning the fan around the other way. Well, I've got a draft, so the smoke will go right out the window, and I feel it's going to work. I'm being considerate to those around me with my cigar smoke, and I'm going to have a breeze. It's great. Right. All right, what do we got? Glenfiddich. 14 years. See, the reason I know it's pronounced Glenfiddich, but I was in the car today getting some coffee, and a local restaurant was advertising their Scotch, their big Scotch event. They were having a big Scotch tasting, and it was like $250. Pay $250 to get, $20 worth of Scotch, because that's what you get to taste at dinner tonight. Anyway, they were having a Scotch tasting, and they were talking about all the different Scotches they were going to have, and they said Glenfiddich. It's Glenfiddich. Fiddick, right? Am I wrong? I know some of you know Scotch way better than I, but I've always pronounced Glenfiddich. But even the people selling Scotch pronounced it Glenfiddich. Were they wrong, or have I been wrong all these years? I don't know. There we go. A goodly amount. That should last us for the duration of the show. Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Bottoms up. Chin chin. Now, I still haven't refilled the butane on my torch. So, I'm stuck smoking with a Zippo lighter. Sorry, I haven't been giving the mods a chance to read your comments. With a wonderful tip from Schockenberg. Schockenberg asks, "Hey Oxhorn, longtime fan of the channel. I watched your old World of Warcraft videos and recently learned you were the one who made them. My question is, do you have plans to show off the Wild Wasteland trait from New Vegas?" Great question, and it's something I've struggled with because nothing that happens in the Wild Wasteland trait, perk, is lore. It's not canon. We know it's not canon. We know that there are no holy hand grenades in the bunker in Camp Searchlight. Hold on. Oh no, is my flint dead? Ah, yeah, fire. Strike order. Strike order. Doggone it, I didn't get enough flame. But look at that, my ventilation system is working. The smoke is going right out the window. Oh man, I love it when a plan comes together. But, like, I know that there are no holy hand grenades of Antioch, a Monty Python reference, in the basement of the church in Camp Searchlight. That's not canon. But weird, crazy Easter eggs like that have been going on all the way since Fallout 1. There's a random encounter where you get to meet Doctor Who and his TARDIS in Fallout 1. That's in the game. How do we process that? Is it canon or not? Does this take place in our world or does it take place in the Doctor Who universe? How do you deal with it? You just ignore it. All you can do is ignore it. And that's kind of been my strategy with the Wasteland, the Wild Wasteland stuff. It is funny. I love it. It's great. You've got the old ladies running around with sticks trying to hit you. But it's not canon, so I can't include it in a lore video. All right, I'm going to hand the floor over to the mods who will be tendering your questions to me so that I can light my cigar. Thank you very much, mods. The floor is yours.
All right, I'll be speaking tonight. Everyone else, other mods, just send the questions to administration. We also have a new channel in the Discord, Ask Oxhorn, where you guys can submit questions.
Oh, thank you, Country.
So first question is from High Elder Sky. Hey Ox, I would like to ask you your general opinion on the modding community at the moment as I'm looking into joining it. And I'd like to know if you know anything specific about it currently. Thank you.
The modding community is wonderful. I'm not a modder. I do a few things. I've got a few mods that are just, body slide presets or... No, not even a body slide presets. What do I have? I've got face presets. I've got some of my blueprints, my settlement blueprints, but I'm no modder. But I love the modding community for Bethesda games and Fallout 4 in particular. Everyone is extremely helpful. The amount of creativity that goes into each of their mods is astounding. I can tell you, though, based on just what I've experienced, that there are two kinds of modders. Thankfully, one kind of modder is much more prevalent, and that's the kind of modder who is generous with his or her time, very understanding in the comments section, helps out people who come asking questions, and is continually producing amazing content. There are some modders who are gatekeepers, and I hate having to admit it, because I love the modding community for Fallout 4, but there are some modders who are gatekeepers, and they kind of feel, ooh, I'm a modder. And I make these mods for Fallout 4, and ooh, all you other people trying to make mods are pretending, and ooh, man, my mods are so great. And if you ask a question on my mod page, and you might not be experienced in modding, I'm going to lampoon you and mock you because you don't know what you're talking about, even though I know you're new, and you could just really use some help. I'm just going to sit and make fun of you. You have a few people like that. But to be fair, you have a few people like that in any community all over the planet. Modding is no different. Modding is no different. So knowing that going into it, I think is going to be helpful. You will run into some people who they think a lot about themselves and they're not very friendly, but the vast majority of modders in the modding community are extremely helpful and they love creativity. There are some great Discord channels that you can join. There's the Nexus Mod channel and then a few others that you can join where you've got modders who are there to help you out, help you install your mods, give you ideas for the mods you're trying to create. It's great. So I love almost everything about it.
All right. Let's see. Swaggy Sheep says, what got you into Fallout 4?
Well, Swaggy Sheep. Oh, keep cool. Sorry. There's ash on my screen now. Oh, and I destroyed my cigar. Like the half of it is burned away. It's just too long. It's like this. Knock this. All right, Swaggy Sheep. What got me into Fallout 4? Fallout 3 got me into Fallout 4. Well, I should say Fallout New Vegas got me into Fallout 4. I played Fallout 3. Fallout 3 was the first Fallout game I played. I played it back in 2008 when it was released, and it just changed. Like, I had never played a first-person open-world game before in my life. I had never played a first-person game before in my life before I played Fallout 3, and it changed the way I enjoy games. After that, I just loved it. But then I took a long break, and then I played Fallout New Vegas. I went through New Vegas really quickly, and it was after that that I just had to play 4. And then I just absolutely fell in love with 4, and my passion for the franchise blossomed with 4. And from there, I'm going back and reliving many of the other ones to just make sure that I get everything. So, that's how I got into it. I was working for a company called WeGame at the time. I was paid to play video games, which was great. And I was producing a lot of content for them, and we were all playing Fallout 3 as a company. Which was a lot of fun. But then the company ran out of money. It was right during the great housing bubble of 2008, 2009. So sadly, the company, crumbled after that. And I had to stop playing Fallout 3. I had to go get another job. But that's where it came from.
All right. Let's see. What is your favorite place in Fallout New Vegas? Says Marky.
My favorite place in Fallout New Vegas, it's, every time I get asked a timely question like this, my first instinct is to go to my most recent experience. So I don't know if that's honest or not, but heading into the Utah mountains in Honest Hearts, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like the entire zone, it's well made. It's constructed well. You can understand it and navigate it. But the land features are diverse. It looks like nothing you're going to find in the Mojave. It's not a boring, arid desert. There are really interesting things going on there, and it's beautiful. But is that my favorite place? Gosh, I don't know. I loved the Dead Money DLC, but I have to admit that the Sierra Madre Casino was not my favorite location. Probably because it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be kind of scary and horrible and oppressive. I think that it definitely had an oppressive design choice going on there. So that was part of the design. But, man, Zion is just... it's beautiful. So I'm going to tentatively use that as my answer for now.
Striped Llama 607 says, on average, how long do you take when you play the game for one of your videos?
Hold on a second. I thought I saw a tip fly by. I could be wrong. Let's make sure that we read the tips as they come in. We don't want to forget them. But how long? So, how long do I play the game before I do a video? Is that what he or she is asking?
Yes.
Well, it depends on the episode. Like, for example, I'm doing a big series. Well, I'm going to be doing a big series on Honest Hearts, and it takes a lot of preparation, an unusual amount of preparation. So I'll be shooting footage for well over a week just to get everything I need before I start producing videos. But typically my work schedule will, if I have enough time, what I tend to do is I tend to record footage at night and then make the video the next morning. And that allows me to focus on recording the audio right after waking up, which is when my voice is the clearest. Pro tip, if you ever want to do voice acting, at least from my experience, do voice recording before you eat or many hours after you eat, and with a hot beverage handy. That makes voice recording a lot better, a lot easier in my opinion. But if I run out of time, or if I'm doing something that I know is going to take a very little time, then I'll just do it all in one day. I'll sit down, record the footage in a couple of hours. That's what I did today. I had most of the footage done for my Wasteland Survival Guide video, but there were a few other things I knew I needed to capture, but it wasn't a whole lot. So I woke up, recorded it ended up being about 2 hours of footage that I shot. I shot that footage. Then I spent another 2 hours doing the primary editing in Adobe Premiere. And then I'll be finishing it after the video tonight. So late night ahead. Cheers. The problem is that I've got my text over here on this screen, and I keep wanting to look this way to see what you're writing, and then I just bang right into my microphone. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So, there's a $20 tip from Dr. Schockenberg, and he asks, "Hey Oxhorn, longtime fan of the channel. I watched your old WoW video." Oh, I was already asked. Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's a live program. Anything can happen.
Razuel asks, "Hey Ox, I've been playing New Vegas, and I've been having the glitch with the mysterious stranger. You've spoken about it before, and I was wondering if you'd found a fix for that?"
I haven't. You know, a part of me is upset. I'm sad that I got the mysterious stranger perk, because now every time he shows up, I go, oh great, I'm going to lose the fight because I'm going to get stuck in this perpetual cinematic. Tell you what, I don't know. One thing that I've been meaning to try that I haven't tried yet is turning off the cinematic kills option. I leave it on because it's better for video. It's much more interesting to have a big cinematic kill where they go in slow-mo and go. But I wonder if that might interfere with the mysterious stranger perk. I haven't tested it, but one thing you may want to try is turning that off and seeing if that fixes it. If it bothers you that much, you might also just consider using the console to remove the perk manually from your character.
Okay. Let's see. Oxhorn, what Fallout do you enjoy the most? Or what are your favorite features from the respective Fallout game? Says insert name here.
It's hard to pick a favorite. So I won't even try. Instead, I'll answer the second portion of your question. For Fallout 4, the gameplay is so consuming. I love modding weapons. I love modding power armor. I love fixing power armor and collecting new pieces of power armor. I love how dynamic the combat system is. And the story is also really good. It's the story that captured my imagination and got me back into Fallout and to really start seriously playing it. The moral implications of the different factions is what is fun about the game for me. But Fallout New Vegas, the story for Fallout New Vegas is so earthy. I don't know if that makes sense. It's hard to describe. You can tell the difference between the writers of New Vegas and the writers of the Bethesda games. And I'm not going to sit here and say which one is best, because they're very different ways of telling a story, and they're both good in their own way. Bethesda has a way of telling the story with fewer words. Yes, there are great moments of exposition in Fallout 4, but a lot of what you gain from a location is what you can absorb by keeping your eyes open. The stories you can piece together by taking a look at the skeletons, or what you observe from the location. There is some of that in New Vegas, but much more of it is dialogue driven. They sit there and they tell you the story. And the story is so interconnected. You can tell that they clearly loved the world that they were building, because every single location is connected 5 different ways to 5 different locations and 5 different stories. I mean, they've got references to almost every single DLC that they released in the vanilla game in terms of graffiti and all sorts of stuff, and even dialogue options. You talk with Chief Handlin, whom you meet very early in the vanilla game, and he goes on a long-winded rant about Joshua Graham, which is wonderful, right? They had all of that foreshadowing. So it's just, they're different, and they're just great in their own ways.
Okay. Next question is from Bacon King. Hey Oxhorn, what was your favorite video or kind of video to make?
Well, back in the day, many years ago, when I was doing machinima movies using World of Warcraft, I labored lovingly over every frame in my movies. My movies would not be long. They would be, 15, 18 minutes long. And I would spend months working on them. And that's because they were original stories, and there was a lot of compositing. I had different layers of footage, and I was doing a lot of keying, and I had my own animations that was going on. There was a lot of work that was involved. So they took much longer. But everything about them was done by me. The story was written by me. I composed... I hired a composer to compose music specifically for my videos, the very talented Nathan Allen Pinard. If you've been watching for a long time, you know that I love what he does, and I try to promote him any chance I get. But the only asset I used was the art assets from World of Warcraft, which I pulled from the world and put in my own 3D environments and created a short story. Those were really satisfying to do because I was able to control the story from beginning to end. What I'm doing now is very different, where I'm not telling an original story. I'm retelling a story that's already been told, and I'm just trying to find creative ways to tell it in a way that's good for the YouTube medium. I'm not doing what I'm doing because I think I can tell their story better. I think that the way they tell their story is perfect for a video game. But there's an entire group of people on YouTube who are looking to consume that story, but they want to consume it in a way that's more suitable for film. And so what I really enjoy doing is playing through the game, going through the experience, and then finding ways to organize the narrative in such a way that it works better for a film, for something you sit down and watch instead of something you interact with. And the challenges of doing that is a lot of fun to they are fun to overcome. So that's also really satisfying. I guess that's just like what I do. I just like doing this. This is fun for me.
All right, next question. Hockey Ricks 2009 says, "Hey Ox, do you know why there are pipe weapons in pre-war safes? In my perspective, the pipe weapons were made after the Great War, but is there a reason or lore behind the pipe weapons being in pre-war safes, or is it just randomly generated?"
So there are two facets to this. The first is that if you take a look at one of the Guns and Ammo magazine covers, it's called the Guns of Detroit, and it talks about this very thing. It talks about the pipe weapons that were being made by gangs in Detroit. So there they clearly establish a pre-war group of people who were improvising weapons. They were making improvised weapons. That in and of itself could explain why some of these improvised weapons are sometimes found in containers, even though the magazine is about Detroit and we're in Boston. But the other flip side to that is, we have to be able to separate game mechanics, necessary game mechanics, from the lore of the game. And one of the necessary game mechanics of Fallout 4 is the ability to provide the player with a random but useful and exciting assortment of loot that isn't hand-tailored for every single container in the game, because that would be tedious, unnecessarily so, and would take too much time away from the developers, time they could be using on creating new experiences, right? So instead of hand-tailoring every single container, they leave it up to a random generation. It's an in-game necessity. And we have to be able to do that when it comes to the Fallout games, when it comes to all of the Fallout games. And it's something that, what's his name? I was watching an Overwatch video. I forget his name, but he was trying to describe the same thing. Like, he had people complaining to him. He was one of the developers for Overwatch, and he had people complaining to him about how some of the abilities that some of the Overwatch heroes had were unrealistic and couldn't be explained by the lore and yada, yada, yada. And then he says, look, your character dies and then resurrects himself and then goes out and dies again. That's the gameplay portion of the game. You can't expect everything that happens during the gameplay portion of the game to be 100% on lore, because to have a 100% on lore game would be very boring. It would be one of those survival games where you die and you have to deal with the tedium of hunger and of thirst and getting too much sun exposure and making sure your clothing is thick enough and all of the other weird things that we all have to deal with in real life that we don't necessarily want to deal with in a game. Those things are ignored and they're placed outside of the realm of in-game mechanics, and instead they leave only the things that are interesting to that game. Now, the lore kind of goes parallel to it, but the two are not They don't walk the same line. They walk different lines within the same sphere. I'm probably just I'm probably just confusing you more. But what I'm trying to say is that the random items generated in containers, those are randomly generated, and we need not have to believe that everything we find in a container needs to be canon lore. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Another generous $20 tip that says, "Hey Ox, you should start playing Metro Last Light after Metro 2033." He also asks, "Do you do the audio separate from the video?" And says, "Also, you should do some arena shooter games. Keep up the good work. I love the vids."
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, after Metro 2033, I will do the next one because I'm having so much fun with it. And to answer your question, yes, 99% of the time I do my videos separately. I have done a few videos where I've recorded the audio at the same time that I'm recording the video, and I tend to do those for mod overviews. When I'm showing off a player home from a mod, I may sit down and just explore it at the same time that I record the audio, because that gives me a little bit more spontaneity when showing off the location. But when it comes to the Fallout games, what I do is I'll record the entire experience, then I bring all of that footage into Adobe Premiere, and then I edit it beforehand in the way that I want to tell the story. And I'll just have segments of video along my timeline with each major musical note that I want to hit in that story. And then I just set my microphone to record, and I'll scrub through the timeline until I get to a point, and I'll narrate everything that happened until that point, and I'll narrate over the point, move on to the next scene, and narrate everything connecting to that point. So I've got the story in my head, and I just put all of the dots on the timeline, and then I connect the dots in my audio recording later. Then I have to spend 2 hours editing the audio to remove all the ums and ahs, and then I put it in the video, and then I have to edit the video to the audio. It's a time-consuming process, but that process renders the best results, I've found.
All right. Techno Geek Girl asks, "So Oxhorn, what are your feelings about Kellogg? Do you feel sad for him, or is he just pure evil?"
Well, I think I pretty much covered everything in my Kellogg video. I went over how I was feeling through every aspect of his story, and I think I summed it up pretty good at the end of that video. But to sum it up here, I think he ends very evil. That he's just the way his story ends, he's an evil human being that has to be destroyed. That he's beyond redemption by the time you meet him. But what makes him interesting, aside from being what makes him more than a one-dimensional character, is everything that Bethesda gives us that tells us how he became the way he did. And that's why I took a little bit of a different narrative approach with that video than I typically do with my character profiles, because if I were to just talk about him the way he was when we find him, then he's just a one-dimensional villain and we kill him and okay, we move on. But I wanted to start with him being a child, an influential child, who was molded by his parents, and really tie in how I believed that a lot of the way that he was brought up had to do with the way he ultimately turned out. Because he turned into a grown man who, yes, he loved his wife, and yes, he loved his daughter, but he was still okay with killing people who were innocent. And he became that man before he met his wife, before he met his daughter, before he suffered the tragedy of their deaths. He still became that man before all of that happened. He became that man based on his upbringing. Had he had a better upbringing, he might not have become that man. So there is definitely an element of pity involved, and he's certainly a victim in one regard, in that he was victimized by his parents, particularly by his dad. But then he became a victimizer, and an unrepentant victimizer at that, which moves him into the realm of needing to be dealt with.
All right. Vault Guy 88 asks, "Will we ever see settlement bills again, or is this just strictly lore now?"
Great question. I've built every settlement in the game once. I've been going through them again. I was doing revisited settlement builds for a while. I think the last one I did was a couple months ago. So it has been a while since I've done a revisited settlement build. And, the end of my revisited settlement builds kind of coincided with me starting to do videos about New Vegas and Fallout 3 and Fallout 1. And that's because roping in these new games has... I'm spending a lot more time than I used to making my videos. It's easier to make a Fallout 4 video. And maybe it's just because I'm so familiar with the engine and I've done everything in Fallout 4 and I'm really comfortable there. But for me, it takes a lot more time to make a Fallout 3 or a Fallout New Vegas video. Not just the research, but the way the engine works. It's a little bit more cumbersome to shoot footage with, and the way the dialogue system works is very different. For example, in Fallout 4, you can save at any point during your dialogue conversation. So if I ever want to explore all of the dialogue options in one long conversation, I can save right before the 4 options, go through the first one. Oh, that was great. Reload the previous save, go through number 2. Oh, that was great. Get through all 4 of them, move on to the next tree, save right before that, and then go through all 4 of them. But you can't save during a conversation in Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas. So you have to save immediately before that conversation and hope that the character doesn't move during the entire time. Otherwise, it's going to look really awkward, which sometimes happens and it's unavoidable. But then it ends up being a lot more footage and it takes a lot more time just to record one conversation. And then I have to edit out all the unnecessary stuff that I had to capture anyway to piece it all back together. So it just takes a little bit more time. Anyway, to make a long story short, I still love my settlements. I've already done one for every single settlement. So I would be retracing ground, retreading ground I had previously trodden. So I'm trying to do newer stuff. And thankfully, with Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I'm getting access to a whole bunch of new lore that I haven't done before. So that's my primary focus right now.
Alright, next question from Ven Rule. In Fallout New Vegas, do you think the iguana on a stick could just be a baby fire gecko / gecko? Only applies to Fallout New Vegas, since that's where they appear.
It's always possible. But we see a fire gecko on a spit in Joshua Graham's cave. And it does not look like an iguana. It looks very different. Now, you did say baby, but iguanas tend to be more slender, lizard-like, and longer. The geckos are a little bit rounder. They just don't look like geckos. Which means either there are a bunch of iguanas running around the Mojave where they are not natural, that we just don't find in the game. Maybe they're nocturnal and they live underground. Who knows? maybe they have to go spelunking for them or something. I don't know. But we also have the connection to Bob's Iguana Stand from Fallout 1, so we kind of already have an established source of iguana meat. So my bet is that the iguanas we find in New Vegas, it's not iguana meat.
Sasha 1221 asks, Hey Ox, if building settlements were possible in New Vegas, where would be the first place you'd build a settlement and why?
The first place? Man, there are so many different environments where it would be fun to build. I would love to build a casino. So having a space on the strip, or maybe retrofitting one of those big destroyed buildings in Freeside to make your own casino, that would be cool. I also really enjoy the mountainous terrain near Jacobstown, for example. So being able to build a hillside fortification near Jacobstown would be a lot of fun. Also, I really love the area near Cottonwood Cove. It's got a great vista of the river. That would be a wonderful place for a view. So that's my answer.
Let's see. Enclave Heavy Elite asks, Oxhorn, do you think Fox from Fallout 3 is dead?
Well, I don't know what the canonical ending of that is, because you could use Fox to, Project Purity and all of that. So I don't know, does he die in that if you do use him? Is using him for that the canonical ending? I don't know. It's a great question. I would hope that he's not dead. because he is a very interesting super mutant. He's a lot of fun to talk to. But we don't have an answer. So just because I'm an optimist, I'm going to say yes, I believe he's alive.
All right, $5 donation from Moon DeVille, asking, just saying, Ox, thank you once again for keeping me sane during disolays. You stay beard and classy, you beautiful, classy gentleman.
Thank you. He did some wonderful censorship there. Thank you very much, Fancy, for your censorship. And thank you, Moon Divine, for that wonderful comment. I do appreciate it.
All right. Doctor Who, the 10th, asks, Hey Ox, what mod in New Vegas are you using to have Veronica and Cass's equip the recon helmet and Cass's outfit? Because in my Xbox One game, they do not have them.
Wait, the recon... So Cass's outfit, I haven't changed Cass's outfit at all. So the outfit I showed off in the video I did about her is the exact same outfit. All I put on her was a Sunset Sarsaparilla Deputy badge, and there's a mod for that. I list it in my mod document if you want it. By the way, every time I publish a video, I link to a document that has all of my Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas mods. So if you ever want to find a mod that I use, check out those mod documents. But I didn't alter her outfit in any way. Now with Veronica, I just didn't like her hooded robe. It was just not good. So the cool thing, well, I don't know if it's a cool thing, but the way New Vegas and 3 work is that the companion will wear the most powerful piece of armor that you put on their inventory. And since a recon helmet is more powerful than the hood she was wearing, she just automatically equipped it when I put the recon helmet in her inventory. So for Veronica, I put her in power armor and a recon helmet. I thought she looked better than in the weird hooded robe thing she had going on. But Cass has got a great thing going on with her cowgirl outfit. I didn't want to change it, so I didn't touch it.
All right. Yeagsman asks, Ox, are you planning on doing a video about the experimental MIRV and the Keller family?
Ah, yes. So I found the first Keller family holotape when I was exploring right around the Anchorage Memorial. That got me interested and made me want to go to the National Guard, the outpost barracks, whatever it is. But I've already got months worth of content scheduled for my Fallout 3 gameplay because there are certain things I need to get to level my character correctly in terms of bobbleheads and skill books and all of that. And then when I start one quest, I want to do all of the other quests that are connected to it. So that's why I'm going through and doing Fort Constantine, and then I'll be doing the Statesman Hotel and Riley Rangers because they all connect. So there's a lot that I'm doing first. But one of the things that that I do want to do is the Keller family and the National Guard Armory or whatever it's called. So yes, I will be doing that soon, hopefully, sometime.
Alright, 88 Ponies asks, why are the Pit Boys in Fallout 3 so hard to take off when they are so easy to put on in Fallout 4?
Are they hard to take off? Is there something that in Fallout 3 or New Vegas that explains this? Because we meet a guy on our way to Utah in the Happy Trails caravan who tells us that he just found a Pip Boy on a corpse and put it on. Even when you begin New Vegas, the guy just gives you a Pip-Boy that he had, and you put it on. It doesn't seem like it's like a surgical operation, so you may need to elaborate on that. I never thought that it was difficult to take them on or to put them on or take them off.
Let's see. Dead Fox asks, when are you next going to record more Fallout New Vegas DLC videos? Those are great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. At the beginning of this broadcast, I explained what I was working on, and I'm working on Honest Hearts. Honest Hearts is going to be the next DLC that I'm producing content for, but it takes about a week's worth of shooting footage for me to get what I need before I can sit down and start cranking out the videos. So expect a new series on Honest Hearts either next week or the week after. Stay tuned.
Next one.
In Fallout 3, they bolt them on, says Jacob. Really? It seems unhygienic to bolt something onto your arm. It needs air, otherwise you're going to get slimies growing there.
Paladin Ryan asks, Ox, what do you think about a Fallout game set in the southern United States?
Well, we kind of got a bit of that with Point Lookout, didn't we? I mean, it may not be in the southern United States, but it's kind of a swampy area. Kind of feels like Louisiana. Which game was it that went to Texas? Oh, there was one that went to Texas. Tactics went to Chicago, I think. One of them went to Texas. Was it the Brotherhood of Steel game? I'm not sure. I believe there was one game that kind of touched on Texas. But as for other states in the South, it would be interesting. I mean, I'd love to visit any number of places that Bethesda would like to take us to.
All right. $5 tip from Garface. Hey, Ox, you're the man. When all the major factions finally meet in the middle and clash eventually, who do you think will be the victor?
Which game? New Vegas? Or all? Is he talking about all Fallout factions ever?
Yeah, I assume so.
So, all right. Well, the Enclave has lost already. We know that. And the Brotherhood of Lions is dead and gone. It is now the Brotherhood of Maxon, so that's changed. I don't think the followers would be of any consequence. They certainly don't have any military strength. The Legion shuns technology. You can only go so far in 2287 shunning technology. I guess maybe not shunning technology, but they really don't embrace it. They don't use, to my knowledge, a lot of energy weapons. I've only ever seen them use automatic weapons and throwing weapons at me. They're very tribalistic in terms of their organization. I think there's only so far that can only take you so far. So basically, if we're talking about a faction that's going to own or dominate the world stage, we're talking about Maxon's Brotherhood of Steel, the NCR, or the Institute or the Minutemen, if the Minutemen get... if the Minutemen are built up by the sole survivor. But we don't know exactly how far they could get built. Even though I think that the Minuteman ending is the canonical ending for Fallout 4, let's put the Minutemen aside for now, because that adds just another layer of complication. So the NCR is clearly an established fighting force, an established army/government in California, and then you've got the Institute and the Brotherhood of Steel. Let's pick one. All right, let's pick one. Which one in Fallout 4 is going to win, the Institute or the Brotherhood of Steel if they had to fight? Well, the Brotherhood of Steel has everything in a big zeppelin floating in the air with hydrogen. Would not take much for the Institute to take them down. Even though you ended up having to go through this huge rigmarole of hacking Liberty Prime to do so. It wouldn't take much. It didn't take the Railroad much. I think the Brotherhood are likely the weakest faction of those two. They're the easiest to kill. It's far harder to destroy the Institute. I mean, you have to punch through feet of earth with a giant Liberty Prime laser. That's the funny thing about the ending to Fallout 4. Spoilers. I'm not going to spoilers. But basically, the ending to Fallout 4, if you choose the Institute or the Brotherhood, is whomever got a hold of Liberty Prime wins. If the Institute gets a hold of Liberty Prime, they win. If the Brotherhood gets a hold of Liberty Prime, they win. So that's ultimately what it comes to. So whom do I... Well, okay, if that's the case, whom do I think would get their hands on Liberty Prime? Well, we know that the Brotherhood got their hands on Liberty Prime. All right, let's assume that the Brotherhood, led by Maxon, rules on the east, and that the NCR rules on the west. So we would have those two fighting forces going against each other. You've got an emboldened Brotherhood of Steel with high technology, mobile fighting force, a giant, huge robot against the NCR that has people. So we're basically throwing people the world's best technology, even pre-war technology. Shoot! Gosh, if those two are facing, I guess I'm going to have to go with the Brotherhood. As much as I don't want them to win, I think that the Brotherhood under Maxon is bad for the world, and I'd much prefer the NCR to win, even though they are corrupt. But shoot, I think the Brotherhood would win. There you go. That's my convoluted answer.
All right. Next one is from Elder Hunter. Ox, do you think the theory that Courier 6 is a synth is correct?
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that. It would answer a lot of questions, wouldn't it? Interesting. I'm not going to answer that because that could be true. And I would need to learn more about how Courier 6 operated before I said yes or no. We don't really get a lot about androids or synths in New Vegas, do we? We've got Harkness in Fallout 3, but we don't really have anything in Fallout New Vegas. I'll have to think about that when I do my video on Courier 6, which will come eventually.
All right. Another $10 donation from Dr. Schockenberg, and he asks, as I'm sure you know, there's a Fallout 4 mod that allows you to build a settlement anywhere in the Commonwealth. Where would you pick that isn't already a settlement?
It would be fun to do a really large stilt city in the swampy area south of Quincy, far south of Quincy. Now, I know we have the Murkwater construction site, but it's you can't see very far. I think there's a hill in the way or vegetation or something that gets in the way. I would love a nice flat area where you can just build this city on stilts or on floating platforms, kind of like Libertalia, but without the ships. That'd be a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe I'd build something down there.
88 Ponies is following up from their earlier question. Says, in the Project Anchorage DLC, you showed us that the Outcast cut that guy's arm off, but still couldn't use his Pip-Boy.
I see. That's true. You're right. They did. Poor Gary. Why did they have such a hard time taking his Pip-Boy off? That's really weird, now that you mention it. Because it's not hard to take a Pip-Boy off. In Vegas, you get a Pip-Boy. You just slip it right on. We find other people getting Pip-Boys and just slipping them right on. Even the Vault Dwellers in Vault 101 have Pip-Boys from their teenage years. And presumably have to take them off as they grow up or adjust them because their arms get bigger as they grow. And yet, the Outcasts had to cut one off? Maybe they didn't have to cut one off. Maybe they just wanted to kill Gary. And they told you that they had to kill him just to cut it off, just to save face. Oh, the strange guy that just defeated this entire simulation is inside our command center? He's a dangerous man. Maybe he would get upset if he found out we murdered someone. Let's tell him we just cut the guy's arm off because we had to. They should have just told us that he attacked, because the Gary clone very likely attacked, knowing the Gary clones.
Okay, next question. A toad that hypnotizes you asks, Oxhorn, will you make a video on the outskirts of Nuka World?
I've done a few videos on some of the stuff we found on the outskirts of Nuka World. I did one on the entire town of Bradburton and the reservoir and dam area. And I did one on the Shovel Museum. I did one on the overpasses where the gunners have residences. Yeah, I mean, I can take a look at some of the other places in the outskirts of Nuka World to do some videos on. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'm getting a lot of comments saying that they were genetically sealed. The Pip-Boys were genetically sealed to the forearm, but that can't be true. It can't be true if you start Fallout New Vegas as the courier who has never lived in a vault, and some guy just gives you his Pip-Boy, which presumably was genetically sealed to his arm. Maybe there are different... Oh, see, here's a great comment. There are different models of Pip-Boys. Some are bolted together, others use clips. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe others are genetically sealed to your arm. Gary may have had a genetically sealed Pip-Boy in his vault, which was attached to his arm, and the outcasts couldn't remove. But the Pip-Boys from Vault 22 or Vault 34, those are not genetically sealed, certainly not the ones from Vault 111, and those offer the user a lot more mobility. That's a great explanation. I'm going to go with that. Thank you, X, whatever your name was. Sorry, it flew right off the screen. XXBTA88. Thank you, XXBTA88.
Next up, Techno Geek Girl asks, Oxhorn, if ever given the chance, what Nuka-Cola flavor would you drink?
Oh, give me some Nuka-Cola Dark. It's the only alcoholic one. I'll take your Nuka-Cola Dark. Nuka-Cola Wild would probably also be good. I do love myself a good root beer. But yeah, Nuka-Cola Dark all the way. It's like drinking rum and Coke, but packaged together. It's perfect.
Let's see. Next question from Derek the Great. Ox, have you ever thought about making a second channel for main gameplay? And I assume he means unedited footage.
Holy cow. Do you know how much time it would take to upload that every single day? What, unedited footage? Unedited footage of everything that I shoot? Look, I should show you. I have a brand new hard drive that I just bought where I place all of my recordings. It's 4 terabytes. And it's full. It's full of footage that I'm currently in the process of producing videos off of. I've recorded it long ago, but I haven't made the video for that footage yet. I'm slowly getting through it. It's got 4 terabytes with... There's no way I could just upload all of that. If I had uploaded all of the source footage from every video I've ever done, holy cow. YouTube would... YouTube would die. Not really, but I wouldn't break it. But, yeah, that's a lot. No, I don't think I could ever do that. That's a lot of footage. But is that what he meant? Or was he meaning another channel for live streams? Kind of like what I'm about to broadcast here.
I think he meant, like, unedited footage. That or he meant, like, a main playthrough. Like
from start to begin?
Yeah.
Start to end? Yeah. Oh, I just don't have the time for that kind of thing. It takes so much time to do what I do that I don't also have the time to make a new channel where I just play through Fallout 4. Plus, I don't think people would find it quite as interesting as a tightly edited, narrative-driven storyline. I say tightly edited, but my videos end up being 45 minutes to an hour long these days, so not that tightly edited. Slightly tightly edited. Moderately edited is how I should say, I guess.
Alright, we've got another $5 donation from Dr. Schockenberg, and he asks, if there was a mod for Fallout 4 that allows you to recreate the Commonwealth provisional government and also manage it, would you play it?
No, what I would love is that to be canon. I don't want that to be a mod. I want that to be part of the actual game. You know what would be cool is if Bethesda's new Creation Club had an entire section dedicated to canon, lore-friendly stuff that was actually considered canon by Bethesda. And then either Bethesda or an excellent modder created a mod allowing you to restart the Commonwealth Provisional Government. Not Commonwealth. They're not Welsh. I suppose they could be Welsh. Hey, if you're Welsh and watching, nothing against... I'm happy to have a Commonwealth Provisional Government. But yeah, the CPG, to recreate the CPG and build it alongside the Minutemen. If that was canon, I would totally do it. The thing with mods is I really only like installing mods that alter the world to make more sense or improve upon it in some way. I don't like mods that start to tell a brand new story alongside the stories that have already been told by Bethesda. I think there's definitely a place for them, and I may play through them just to experience it and to have fun, but I like producing content only on the lore that is considered canon.
All right. Next question from Zombie. Hey Ox, what Fallout factions would you like to see return in Fallout 5?
I want to see new factions in Fallout 5. I want Fallout 5 to be in a completely different location, far away from anything we've ever done. And I guess we could see the Brotherhood, because the Brotherhood is pretty much global. Well, I can't say global, at least national. Of the 50 continental United States, if we've got them on the West Coast and we've got them on the East Coast, it's likely we're going to find them in some form everywhere. I don't want to see Maxon's Brotherhood of Steel there, though. I want to see a completely different faction of the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 5. I also don't want to see the Minutemen. I want the Minutemen to focus on the East Coast, and I don't want to see the NCR. I want them to focus on the West Coast. So if we do have it in a different location, I want to see completely new factions. That said, it would be interesting to see some of the stuff mentioned from the previous games, like the Shi, for example. It would be interesting to see. And the Tree Minders. We don't see them very much, but in Fallout 3... Also, how did Harold get from the West Coast to the East Coast? Is that explained? I'll be touching on that later, I suppose.
Right. Razuel asks, in Fallout 4, what have been the most useful mods for items for you throughout your playthroughs? Weapon modifications and outfit modification.
Concealed armor and what's it called? What is it called? Well, concealed armor is a good one. For the longest time, especially since so in my first playthrough, I didn't wear power armor. I didn't like it. I thought that it was clunky. I really like it now, but at the time, I didn't like it. So my character didn't have power armor, and I would dress her in the best armor I could find. And sometimes it was synth, sometimes it was combat, and it looked so goofy. I thought it looked really goofy, particularly the synth armor. Just looks really goofy. So what I would do is I installed a mod called Concealed Armor, which allowed my character to wear her armor, but it was invisible, so that no one could see it. And that made me very happy for quite some time, because it was so goofy looking. But now I have grown to appreciate the way combat armor looks to a certain extent. I like the way it looks on guys. The super heavy duty version of the combat armor with the big puffy shoulders and neck, I do like that. I think it looks good there. The synth armor, even on guys, it looks goofy. It's just weird. It's weird looking.
Natalia Mortensen asks, Oxhorn, do you believe the children of Adam are evil?
Interesting. I really need to do a video about them, don't I? I've been putting it off, but I need to do a video about them. No, I don't think they're evil. But I'm putting an asterisk by that, because they can do very evil things. The children of Adam we meet in Fallout 4 before installing before installing Far Harbor are evil, because they are kill on sight. They treat everyone kill on sight just like raiders. They're worse than even gunners. At least gunners give you a warning. You get close and they tell you to stand back. Only if you keep walking forward do they open fire. I mean, they're still evil, but at least they give you a warning. The children of Adam don't. But with the children of Adam in Far Harbor, that complicates the faction, because they're not immediately aggressive. Yes, they proselytize. Yes, they're really annoying. They're frustrating to work with. But a lot of them are just really broken people. Especially that one guy sitting right next to the nucleus who has been on a fast for an extended period of time, suffering from radiation sickness. His hair is falling out. He's about to die. And then you've got his friend, who he has enough wherewithal to even forego what people might think of him and say, look, please just convince my friend to stop this fast. He needs to eat. That's a very human interaction between two people who are part of a faction who were just nothing like... They were just raiders in vanilla Fallout 4. So I'm not going to say that they're all evil. I think there is good in the faction. Again, as with many things in the Fallout franchise, a lot of it comes down to leadership. High Confessor Martin was leading them towards peace. And when we listen to his holotapes in his little private bunker, there are moments when he gets very upset with Dima and he loses his patience, and we can see some of the violence of the children of Adam coming forward. But he's also very rational, and he admits when he's wrong, even to the point where he kind of reflects on whether or not he's lived his life the right way. He kind of loses his faith. He's one of those guys that loses his faith, and losing your faith it's a really hard moment in your life, and it's extremely sad. And you can't do anything but just feel sorry for him and empathize with him. He's a very human person. So I can't sit here and just blanketly say that all of the children of Adam are evil. Many of them do evil, but I won't say they're all evil. But it's something we can reflect on in a future video. Thanks for bringing that up. You made me start to... my creative juices are flowing. I want to create some content about the children of Adam now.
Alright, £5 donation from JMiles42. Hi, Ox. Since we know that the US annexed Canada before the Great War, what do you think about the possibility of a game set there?
Oh, well, whoa, that would be really interesting. We do know that they annexed Canada, so the Canada is part of the United States. Wouldn't it be fascinating to have an entire video set in Saskatchewan? Or, is Saskatchewan part of Canada? I think so. Is it? No, I'd love it. It'd be great. I have a lot of people instead of Boston accents, instead of Boston accents, that have Canadian accents. That'd be great. Yes, I'd love it. All right, 2 more questions, then we'll get to the gameplay.
All right, $5 donation from Suchkov Sayas, who asks, do you think that the Enclave and Institute would get along if they ever met? Or would they clash? Is there a lesser evil between the two?
They would clash, not because one of them is a lesser evil, but because they're competing evils. They're both evil, but they're competing for the same things. Power. They can't share that power. They want that power. So yes, they would hate each other, and yes, they would go to war with each other, but not because one is lesser an evil than the other. That said, if I had to choose one, if I could choose which one I wanted to win, it would be the Enclave, only because the Enclave say that they want to restart the American government. The Institute doesn't. The Institute wants to remain in their bunker, underground, doing their experiments, gratifying themselves, not helping other people. The Enclave, they still kill people. You know, they still see people as tools that they use to get their way, but they're at least saying that they're trying to restart civilization. Even though they're lying, they're at least saying it. But I should learn more about the Enclave before I make a final decision. Anyway, 1 more question.
All right, last question from Splendid Ren says, what do you think happened to the Vault-Tec CEOs?
What do I think happened? Oh, I think we went over this last week. I think that there's no way that Vault-Tec would make hundreds of vaults all over the continental United States for all sorts of people to do their experiments, and they wouldn't have a vault for themselves. I think that is insane. The logical conclusion is that they had a vault for themselves, and it wasn't an experiment, so it likely still exists somewhere. They likely all didn't suffer in some cataclysmic... I mean, it would be ironic if they made a vault for themselves and they all went underground and something horrible happened to them and it didn't go according to plan. Yes, that would be ironic. I think it's much more likely that they're still there. Somewhere in the world, we still have all of Vault-Tec's hierarchy still existing, monitoring the vaults, still conducting their experiments, alive and well to do even more evil upon the world. All right. And with that, let us move on to Metro. I'm going to turn off my music and get the game a-running. Didn't they go to the government on the Poseidon oil rig? Says Puff and Stuff. Possibly. Probably. I don't rightly recall. But surely they couldn't all fit on the oil rig. All right. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. So far, so good. Okay, I want to get to the... I want to get to the game itself, and then we can go forward. Hold on. Okay, let's try again. Here we go.
For your safety, protect yourself and your loved ones.
Aha! Look at that!
After Pavel's death, I was on my own. Somehow I had to reach Black Station. Ullman would meet me there and take me to Polis.
Okay, let's change our sound settings because it's a little loud. Let's make sure that's close enough to my mouth so you can hear me. And let's bring that down just a bit. There we go. All right. Fancy if people complain about sound being too low or something, just let me know. Okay, and I'm trying to remember where I was. Did I forget? Did I not get a key somewhere? Oh, didn't I finish this portion already? Yeah, I got that kid. Whoa, why didn't I? It didn't save me getting that kid. What? Oh! Ah! Ah! I forgot. That's right. This is that game. Okay. All right. Hold on. I gotta find my way back to where I was. For some reason, it didn't save my progress. I thought I had gotten that kid, but I messed up somehow. And these bodies aren't looted? I am confused, ladies and gentlemen. Did I not hit a checkpoint? This is where I was. Great. Fantastic. I'm going to walk right into a hole here, aren't I? You doggone dog rat creatures. Oh, okay. Maybe I was closer than I thought. Ah! I found the key! Okay. Totally turned around. This is what happens when you end a broadcast right when you're in the middle of playing the game. You forget where you were. At least I'm getting more ammunition. Huh. Now, where do I need to go? Someone who knows this game very well is watching me and shaking his or her head. Wait. Oh, I think we're getting close. Wait, no. No, we're not. Here we go. There we go. Well, at least, okay, so I found back to where I needed to go, but at least now I can go this way, which I didn't explore earlier, because I followed the voice of the kid. Okay. I'm back in the saddle, folks.
You told me you'd take me to... Go away! Leave me alone! Mom told me not to talk to strangers. Please, Uncle. Are you hurt? Say something. He won't wake up. I think he's dead. He's dead, isn't he? How... You'll take me?
Can I skip this?
I don't know you, but if I don't, I guess I'll get eaten by the monsters.
Okay.
You have a gun? Okay, maybe I'll come with you then. You can shoot the monsters, right?
I like the animations they got with this kid. You can shoot the
Okay.
monsters, right?
My name is Sasha. You shoot, and I'll watch your back. I hate to leave Uncle here. I was visiting Uncle. He was taking me home when the monsters came. They jumped at him. He started shooting, but then a big nosaurus bit him in the neck. But Uncle is really strong. He killed it with a knife. You don't look as strong as Uncle. I'll have to help you, or we'll both get eaten.
Alright, so now I've got the kid. My conscience is now with me. Hope things don't get too scary for this kid. There's the save point. I should have just walked a little further last week. Note to self, don't end until I get the save point.
There!
Thanks, kid. Are you gonna do that the entire time? Woo. Another one of them holes. Oh! Uh-oh. Does this mean I have to jump down a hole? Ah! Ah, you doggone! It's always when I'm putting down the cigar. Oh! Well, looky here. Which way? Both ways are horrible. I keep hearing something. Oh dear. What's with all the pigs? Did this used to be like a pig farm and they killed all the pigs? Who's telling me to use grenades? How do I use grenades?
I'm not allowed to touch it, but there's ammo in that locker.
Thank you. The game is gonna do everything it can to remind me that this is a child with every dialogue option. Mommy says not to
That
touch
one.
the ammu... Thank you. Mommy says not to touch the ammunition. Oh, and I can't... Oh, I missed another key! How do I keep missing these keys? Alright.
I have a gun too. It's in a safe place till I'm old enough to shoot. But you can borrow it when your gun wears out.
Oh, okay. Well, if I ever want a BB gun, I'll let you know, kid. Right. So, do I want the light? Or do I need to shoot it out because these guys are going to have a better chance seeing me? You know what? I'm just going to keep the light for now. It's a creepy effect. I love it. Oh, man. Danger around every corner. Oh, hey.
There! There's one more!
You are useless, child. There, he says, when there's nothing there yet.
Hey, look out!
Uh-oh. What? What?
There! There's one more!
I got it.
Hey, there's one rolling from me back.
For whom the bell tolls, what is that? Is that a church bell? Underground? Oh man, there are others here. Oh. Wait, did I miss something over here? There's the bell. What were they doing? Which way do I go? There are two ways. Let's go this way.
Hey, look out! There's a hole!
Yes, I saw it. Thanks for telling me after I
People
heard.
should not throw grenades in here. Mom said the ceiling is weak and could come crashing down.
Well, considering I never used grenades, I think we'll be
Hey,
okay.
look out! There!
Jiminy Crickets, kid! Come on, what? There's no there. Just as I'm about to move. Hey! Hey!
Hey, look out! There's one more!
Confound your daggone things!
There!
Yeah! This is not. Stop it!
There's one more!
Oh, there's always one more! Yeah.
Hey, look!
I think I went the wrong way.
There! There's one more! There!
Ah!
Hey, look out!
I guess I just need to move through this, huh? Quickly. Do they stay away from the light? I probably can't be that lucky.
There's one more!
I've used more ammo kits than I typically do. My goodness. Well, I don't know what that other direction was. Maybe it's a big loop, but I think I've chosen one path, and I may need to stick with it at this point. Every time I look over at my cigar to get it, something happens! Just want to grab my cigar. Come on. Come on now. Just let me grab my cigar. Oh, another fork in the road. Two paths.
Hey, what's that? Crawling Looks from the like back. A wire.
Did he just have two voices? Okay, your kid is talking to himself now. Ah! Oh! Where do I go? Well, howdy you. Did I drop the kid?
Are we really leaving the station? Cool. I've never been to the tunnels before. Mom says there's a scary place where the kids go missing. Mom says if the kids go too far into the tunnels, the mutants catch them and eat their brains.
Great.
And then those kids become mutants and go chasing other kids.
Thanks.
Is that true?
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Because that's the direction we're going. And now I'm not scared at all. Oh, the light of day. Precious sunlight. Oh, snow? Ooh, that is a welcome change.
Wow! What's that up there? Wait, Uncle showed me a picture once. The sky. That's the sky, isn't
sky.
it? It's like a painted ceiling. I'll be famous. I saw the sky.
Well, kid, never fear. You and I, we will see the sky together. Let us get out of this subterranean hellhole and see if we can find some fresh air and sunlight. God bless the sun.
Do you think we can climb all the way to the sky?
I can. And I guess you can if you're on my back.
Wait, I don't really want to go this high. Don't drop me.
I hope I can't. I'm really hoping that they didn't make that a game mechanic. Drop the kid. No thanks. His mother. I can't leave without his mom. Oh, this is horrible. This game, it's tugging at my heartstrings. Oh, we gotta go find your mom now, kid. Why didn't you say your mom was still out there and alive? He gets so excited about the sky. Oh. Oh, but I don't want his mom to be dead. I don't want this kid to watch his mom get killed. Is that the scripted event we're about to get? This is horrible. I don't want to play this. All right, let's go find your mom, kid. Come on. We can do this. Let's just go find your mom. Where could she be? Well, we got the key in the meantime, so I guess we're not going to walk away without getting the secrets here. Now, those of you who have played the game, if you can't find his mom, then I guess tell me now so I don't waste our time, but There was that other way I didn't go. And this is the way I went, right? Yeah, that leads down there. Maybe we'll find his mom if we go back this way. I was almost out, doggone it. I was almost out.
Hey, look out!
At this point, bring it on. I'm retracing my steps all the way through everything I've done just to find this kid's blasted.
There's one more! There!
And I'm back here. Well, I'm sorry, I know you're probably frustrated with me, but the mom calls out for her son. What am I supposed to do? I can't just walk off with her kid, knowing that she's alive? What do they want from me? I can't do that.
Hey, look out! There's one more!
And it's gonna be the death of me, too. Alright, am I going mad? Because I thought there was another way that I missed.
There!
Nope. Maybe I can't. Maybe I just can't find his mom. Wait, this was it. Oh, but it's the dead end. So there is no other way. It's a linear. All right. So that's it. I can't take him to his mom. That's horrible. That's horrible, man. Oh! Don't be hasty. Oh! Well, what are they doing?
Mom! Mommy! That's my mom! must go. She's looking for me. Let me go. Let me go to her.
Sasha, you're right! Sasha!
Thanks, man. Do you have any idea how much that boy means?
How did you get
His father
here?
is really important to
Uncle
all
is
of us.
dead, Mom.
And if his son
But this
died,
man took me on his shoulders.
killed him.
I helped him shoot the
without him, we'd all
monsters.
be done for.
Mom, I
Thank you.
saw the sky. Mom, I saw the sky.
Just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. I get it. I get it.
Oh, God. Poor Siroja. Thank you for saving my son. I can
Anytime.
never repay you. But take these cartridges. At least it's something.
Wait. I wanted to refuse. Oh, wow.
All right, let's go.
Man. I'm just drained.
The Black Station is not far from here, but this tunnel goes the other way. You need to go up to the surface. Be careful, new creatures have appeared there. Nazis. They've built an outpost in the destroyed building just outside. At the square, you will find an underground crossing leading to Black Station. I will mark it on your map. The boys will let you outside. Good luck to you, Ranger.
Thanks. New note. She offers me some bullets for saving her child, as if I had a choice. But apparently, what used to be natural before looks strange now, and what would gross out the world then doesn't raise any brows today. What do I do? Decline the reward and insult her? Take the reward and acknowledge that I saved a child just to rake up a reward? The days when a human life, a child's life, was priceless and couldn't be paid for are long gone. Today, we all have a price. The bullets I'm given for saving the boy seem like a good deal. Usually the price for a life is only one bullet. Just enough to take it. I think I read that one last time, right? Now it's really dark. Can't see. I wonder if there are any merchants down here. Oh, these poor people. Oh! He is a vendor. Okay, no.
Blows your target to pieces.
I'll find more of that. No, what's
Take
that?
some. Always
Gas
handy.
mask filters.
Take some.
I've got 30 minutes worth of... Have I been using a gas mask this entire time? I think I'll be okay. And I've got plenty of ammunition, so I'm gonna be alright.
As you wish. Special offers and discounts. The best guns from the Forge Masters.
Alright, customizing my weapon. This is the fun part. Now, I've been using the shotgun a lot. Let's customize that. Ooh. Makes shotguns more efficient at medium and long range by tightening buckshot spread pattern. Hides the muzzle flash and slightly muffles the shot, decreasing shot spread. Shot speed is also decreased, leading to more damage fall off. I don't use a shotgun for it to be silenced. IRS sight. A piece of pre-war military tech. This night vision sight allows for precisely hitting targets in the dark. But do I need that on a shotgun? No. I've already got that. Extended barrel, increased accuracy at medium and long range, but makes the weapon bulkier and heavier. Now, this is my sniper. I'm going to keep that. And I've already got both of those. So that's pretty much Done. What about this one? I really like that night vision. Let's go ahead and take it. Ooh. Sweet. Extended barrel, I'll take it. All right.
Come through.
Okay, so it was just a brief pit stop. Is that what it was? My screen. Thanks, comrade.
I went up again to the gloomy charm of post-apocalyptic Moscow. I was warned in Hull Station about a new squad of Nazi rangers on the surface. But I meant to fulfill the last wish of the dead commander and send his message to Polis.
All right. Yes, night vision. But let's use my silent sniper for now. Especially if I'm going to be dealing with Nazis.
Let's move! Hold each other! It's all covering your eyes, so watch out!
This is going to be a very short broadcast soon, I guess. Unless I'm very careful. Ooh.
Now, let's go through it again. We have 15 minutes at max to get the airlock open. If we don't make it in time, fall back to base. I've been thinking about blowing it up. What do you say, Head Officer? Say a few gives me the creeps. Look what we have here, a thinker. Brilliant. And did you think about what we do once we capture the hull? Shall we use your stupid head to close the exit? Cut the chat out. Reichsfuhrer gave us clear task to capture this station quietly. Hey, who's there? Nice. Help! Enemies right here!
Attention! We got company! Where from?
Ah, doggone it.
Alarm! They're here! Damn! Freaking shit! No? Anyone see it? Hiding, huh? Hey, yo, please! Come out slowly! Get your hands above your head! You won't lay a finger on you if you do! I swear!
So let's go look through the gummy.
And don't forget to cover each other's backs. Hey, you! Give yourself up and you'll be spared. As long as you're not mutated. How could he not be mutated in this fucking
I may be boned. I may be boned. I may be boned. I may be boned or not.
cover!
What the heck? Oh man.
Casualty! Take this, you! We're taking casualties! Careful! People coming! Now coming! You're done for!
How did I not die? How did I not die, ladies and gentlemen? How did I not die? I was so done for. Oh my goodness. Do I even need my gas mask here? I may not. I'll take it off for now. Ooh. It's a death trap. I remember how happy I was to see Bourbon in the empty city. Another living human in this land of the dead. Where did that feeling go? Here on the surface, among the dead stones and petrified bones, danger oozes from everything. The mutant animals, the irradiated souls, the poisoned air, and despite all that, there's no greater danger here than man. And as soon as we pry a tiny piece of living space from this hostile new world, we build a fortress there, not a peaceful colony. Right. Holy cow. Well, that's what I get for shooting at a bell. Ooh, the storm. Oh, it's great. What? Okay. Let's roll. Let's roll back. Let's roll over here. Let's go jumping. Let's jumping. Okay. Scotch. Okay. Yeah. How do I get up there? I mean, I can get up there, right? This is a save location. So... Alright, I'm probably missing something elementary. Oh, yeah! Right! I'll take it. Hello! Up!
Alarm! They're coming to... Alarm! Alarm! Over here! He's dead!
Okay. We're good. Oh. Hoo-hoo! What is this?
Shit. Is the second ship coming or what? Chill to the bone. The filter's almost done for two. My watch shows us at least 10 more minutes. I wish it were sooner. This place gives me the shivers.
What's the total? First, the birthday party. I did buy several rounds. With wedding Felix had...
Attention! We got company! Ah, freaking shit! Where from? Why would I know? Keep your damn eyes open! See him yet? Yup. Hiding somewhere. We're taking care. I'm gonna get. Oh, you commie! We'll find you soon.
That's right, we got a gargoyle.
Guard. Here.
And I'm almost out of ammunition on this guy.
You're not.
Gosh! They're one-shot kills with my little sniper rifle, but with this doggone thing, I go through an entire clip. I feel like I'm playing Skyrim. What? No! Woo! No, don't drop me! Don't drop me! Ah! Maybe I should be a little bit more diplomatic. Like I can. Oh, he can see me? Can he see me? That's it, no more hiding. I shot it in the mouth. Did I kill it? Did I kill it? Holy cow! I killed it with one shot to the mouth! Yes! I'll take it! Why not? A little pea shooter of mine is pretty doggone impressive. Aw, man! What did I do? Oh... There it was. After everything I did, I was looking at this one. Hello? New note. The Nazis were in a hurry to finish off the defenders of the cursed station. They weren't even prepared to wait till the animals to do this for them. Of course, they need the station, they need the living space, but whom would they populate the station liberated this way with? So few children are born in the metro, and those who actually grow up are even fewer. Sukhoi once told me that 15 million people used to live in Moscow alone, and now there are not more than 50,000 of us in the metro, and perhaps on all the planet. And yet we continue murdering each other with gust as if we still number in the millions. Only ashes remain of the 6 billion people that once populated the earth. Ashes and dust. They are all around. They crunch beneath our boots. They disguise themselves as sand and clay, dust and snow. And we richly water them with fresh blood, as if hoping to grow some crops out of such soil. Poetic. Alright, I need to get working on my video, so I'm gonna play until the next checkpoint, and then we'll save the rest for another day. And that would be here. Okay. Oh, a satellite dish. That's why they wanted this place. Unless... All right. I said I would quit, didn't I? All right, but I kind of want to keep playing. All right, I'm going to have to let this go because I got to finish my Wasteland Survival Guide episode. So I'm going to leave this and get to work. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on episode 420 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. We had a great time. You had some wonderful questions, gave me a lot to think about for future episodes, and we had a whole lot of fun playing Metro. I really appreciate each and every one of you coming on by and sharing your time with me. And stay tuned for tomorrow when we'll have a brand new episode. So, until then, ladies and gentlemen, be sure that each and every one of you stays classy.